Regular meeting of the Recreation Commission. For those wishing to address the Recreation Commission on any items on the agenda under oral, public appearance or oral communication, please complete a speaker card located at the entrance of City Council chambers and submit to staff member as early in the meeting as possible. This time, can we have a call to order? And if, Teresa, you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Manfua. Commissioner Proano.
Here.
Who's not here? Oh, Commissioner Pastor, I'm sorry. Commissioner Pastor is not here. Vice Chair Kelly
Here.
and Chair Letta.
Here.
Thank you.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of the minutes from August 25th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're moving on to Director's Report. Rotary Fitness Peace Park Proposal.
Around tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the Commission. Joining us today is Diana Otero, representing the Daly City Colma Rotary Club. I almost said Lions Club. Daly City Colma Rotary Club. We met a week or two ago. The Rotary Club is interested in partnering with the department to provide some outdoor fitness opportunities for the community. And without going any further and stealing her thunder, she came with a presentation that I had a chance to go over with her and thought it would be appropriate to share with you.
Nice. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. So yes, we met with Joseph a couple of weeks ago. And first I'd like to make a little confession. My interest in the park is purely personal. Initially, I got really excited about fitness parks this summer when I was in Spain. I was with my 5-year-old and we're staying near the beach, and they had, you know, the machines that you work out overlooking the ocean. And again, my son is 5 years old, so I thought there's a playground right next to it, so I thought,
Excuse me, through the chair, could you speak up, please?
oh, certainly.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Let me turn it up a little. Is that better? Yes? So I really wanted to work out, and I thought, well, maybe my son can play in the playground. And lo and behold, he started working on the machines with me, and we went every day and worked out for like 20 minutes. And mind you, this is most days we went to the beach, we went hiking, but he goes, no, Mommy, let's go to the workout at the machines. And I'm not great at working out myself, but I got totally excited about it. And actually, before we left, we had just started thinking of a project, a local project for the Rotary Club. And one of the things that had got proposals that had come up was a peace park. But I like to see kind of results in action. I thought, well, a peace park, what will it really be? So I emailed the president of the Rotary Club, Willie Santamaria. I said, Willie, what about a fitness peace park? So that's how we kind of started going, and I started doing some research, and I got the presentation together. And then, of course, we met with Joseph, and it turned out that his office had really already done a lot of research and had a proposal already for a fitness park at Westlake. So we thought, wow. So anyways, so what, there, okay, so I don't need to tell you, right, that Daly City is a great city, right? We're central to San Francisco and San Mateo's. It's a regional hub for retail, healthcare, business, the diversity of the population, and of course languages, et cetera, and transportation with a young, growing, productive labor force, right? This is a lot of the Daly City website. Now, given all the positives, and this is, of course, in Daly City, in California, and throughout the country, right? There are very critical preventable health issues, including obesity, heart disease, cancer. They have increased significantly in the last 3 decades for adults and children. Now, we know we say preventable because physical activity can really decrease the risk of those diseases and reduce it significantly. If adults do get the recommended 30 minutes of daily activity and 60 minutes for children. Right now, according to the data, by the way, an educator. I've been in education for over 30 years, so children are, dear to my heart in addition to adults. But nearly 40% is what the data found based on the assessment they give school children every year. So in 2014, there's found that nearly 40% of the children in California are not physically fit. Now, the adult obesity in San Mateo County, here's the increase from 1998 to 2013. As you can see, it's significant, okay? Now, look at the overweight and obese children in San Mateo County in the yellow bar. From 2010 to 2014, you can see the difference in 2010 was not that much, but look at the increased growth for the children of Daly City, specifically around overweight and obesity, right? And of course, the adults are right up there with them. So I really thought, okay, there is a need, right? There's a need throughout the country. What's interesting, when I got back, I started looking, again, for personal interest, confession, and there are no fitness parks in the general area. They just opened one in San Francisco, but it's in the Marina Green. But within half an hour in the Bay Area, they're really, now in the South Bay, there are a lot of them. San Jose, that whole, the Silicon Valley, and of course, but the rest of the country, there's a huge movement, Florida, Texas, all over the country, because they found the benefits of the working out and working out outdoors. So again, these are, based on research, the benefits that have been shown that fitness parks provide, right? Improve mental well-being, the decrease, the disease prevention, for both physiological health and energy. And they found, and it's interesting because I also, since I couldn't find the outdoor fitness park, I went to the local gym, thought, okay, I'll join a gym, which I've never been crazy about. People were sitting in that gym, I'm not exaggerating. They're sitting there like this. I mean, they just did not look very happy. And then when I saw that, yes, in fact, exercising outdoors, they found that people are more likely to repeat the activity and to do it for longer periods of time. Okay, and again, back to students, which is, my heart and my passion, that the students who participate in daily physical activity tend to have a better attitude towards schools and to succeed, they have better success academically. Okay, so here's a sample. Okay, so what kind of benefits and results? Well, here's an example, San Antonio, and this was in just one fitness park, okay? It was a citywide campaign, but it really shows what kind of impact it can have. Okay, so San Antonio focused on fitness parks, and there was a major campaign, and they reduced their obesity rate in 2 years from 35 to 28.5%. Okay, so there's really clear benefits and results. So what we'd like to propose with the Rotary Club is to have again, the vision is to support the community to live healthier, more active lifestyles through engagement in the fitness and to unite all the stakeholders, all the community, and promote health, fitness, and of course, peace. So here would be some of the proposed campaign focus areas. So to support the park, to legitimize the mission in the eyes of the general public, and to establish the Peace Park, and ideally there would be more than one, but of course to start with one, as a community resource and a symbol to the city's commitment to the health of the residents, and to for the essential blocks of, again, the peace and fitness. So again, we did some research, although again, Joseph's office has also done apparently some extensive research. And my costs, these are some of the very, very general quotes, because of course, in order for them to give an exact quote, we'd have to finalize the location, because of course, most of these include installation, and the surface can be very, very high. But the ones that I went to in Spain, and actually we went on a field trip with the Rotary Club down to Mountain View where they have one, and they just have it on dirt. Because if you do put, those rubber mats, the mats alone can cost like $100,000, but you don't really need those. So these are the rates I got, and again, depending on the number of units that you install and the number of users that it can accommodate. So again, it's a question of how much money we can raise, and the space, again, Joseph had already found the space at Westlake Park. And that space can accommodate, I think, at least up to 14 units, if not more. It's actually a great space, and of course, with the community there at Westlake, you have kind of a set audience, so it would be, I think it's an ideal location. Any questions so far around the cost or anything? Okay. So again, a picture's worth 1,000 words. There's my 5-year-old in Santoña, Spain, working out. And you can see he can barely reach it, but he would sit there and work out. And here's our president and president-elect of the Willie Santa Maria and James Calacal working out on our field trip. And then I just have a brief video I'd like to share with you to, again, just kind of go over the, and now I'm not sure how to click onto this. Great. And again, this is just a summary of all the research, and so you can actually see what it looks like, because I can tell you about it all day, but
The 4 elements of fitness are critical for anyone in terms of overall well-being, and probably the #1 reason is injury prevention, but just as important is to just be overall healthy. Aerobic fitness is an important component to quality life, and by definition that would mean that your heart and lungs are functioning at their optimal level. And so gaining aerobic fitness or maintaining aerobic fitness will allow them to function much better. Muscle fitness really has 2 aspects. One would be muscle endurance, so that you can repeat a task over time, and the other would be muscle strength, so that you can perform one or a small number of tasks, but that are really quite challenging. Regardless of the task or the person, there's an equal emphasis and need to be fit from a muscular standpoint. Core fitness is really the essence or the glue that holds all the other components together. If your back, if your abdominals, if that core area can't support you in a task, no matter how fit the other parts are, you're going to fail at some point. And fail typically means injury. The balance and flexibility, of course, those are other components of the fitness spectrum. As we age, they become critically important. Flexibility in and of itself is thought to be important for injury prevention. Balance training is really training the core and training the muscle fitness. So it's although we call it balance because it literally is balancing and not falling, to improve that area, you have to have stronger legs, stronger core, stronger muscles throughout to allow you to do the task. So it ties in all of the other components right back to where we started.
Okay. So any questions or comments?
Through the chair, so the Rotary is interested in sponsoring this investment?
Well, we're interested in working to get, we don't have the funding, we have some funding now, but we're interested, first we wanted to see if we have your interest and your approval, and yes, we'd like to see about getting funding and helping get it set up, absolutely, if you are all interested.
Through the chair, would that include staff costs to manage it?
No,
Is there-
well, no, what we would work on is getting the funds to install and set up. Okay? Now, the great thing is that this doesn't really need management.
So there's no one there that shows people how to properly use the equipment?
No, there are signs on each machine, and I mean, frankly, like when I used to, I didn't even look at the signs, but no, I looked at them a little bit. It's kind of so intuitive, and the other thing that's great about it, it's not like at a gym where you, like the weight, you have to set up the weights and stuff. It's all using your own body weight, so that you're not going to put more weights than you could, or that in any way would hurt someone. But there are, of course, signs and everything. But again, like in some of the senior centers where they have installed these, because they are in a senior center, they have put like made it a class, and have like an instructor run people through a routine, and they do a warm-up after, so that's an option. And since there are activity and recreation classes at the center, a possibility is that could be one of the classes, right? But it is something that most of them are just totally independent, and people just do it on their own. But very good question, yes.
I was going to ask more of Joseph, because the area we're looking at is Westlake Park, is that correct?
Yeah, specifically the area, if you can visualize the old playground in front of Larkham Clubhouse. It's the last, I believe, of our sand-filled playgrounds with vintage play equipment. And it's something that staff had looked at about a year ago, and we priced it, I'll say, at prices quite a bit higher than what the presentation showed. And we were looking for a possible Measure A grant funding, which we didn't get, but we had the concept in place. And I didn't go to Spain. I went to Puerto Rico, where I had my first encounter with one of these, and on the beach, on a bluff overlooking a beautiful beach. And it is literally this outdoor physical fitness equipment with no staff there, and it's very intuitive, and it's very inviting, and people were jumping on, ellipticals, and I don't know the names of all this stuff, but a nice variety of equipment. And we've talked about this among the county Parks and Recreation directors as definitely a blossoming trend in Parks and Recreation. There's some concern, and Denise even whispered to me about liability and injuries.
Well, that was my concern,
They are
too.
finding that some people get a little carried away and enthusiastic, especially if you're going from 0 to 60. But I don't know that it's any more of an attractive nuisance or potential danger than the skate park, kids playing basketball or tennis. I mean, the object is not to
Or the play
invite
structure.
people to hurt themselves. It's actually the opposite, to invite people
Yes.
to work
To be
on their health. So,
Well,
there's always going to be a little bit of a risk.
As long as the instructions are there on how to use the equipment
Absolutely.
properly,
Oh, yes.
and that those instructions are maintained, then
Right.
Yes.
And you raise a good point. Everything you put outside, especially in Daly City, is got a limited shelf life.
Right.
And, we would have to come up with a maintenance and replacement plan. Things don't age well
Sure.
in Daly City. The fog.
and from a standpoint of historically here, we don't do a good job maintaining here. And that's a major concern of mine, that when we do something, we don't maintain them well.
Oh, that's
You're right,
important,
we seem to be
yes.
more in a replacement
Yeah,
schedule rather
exactly, and so, you know, that's an awful lot of money to spend on something that would benefit the community, but, you know, what is the life of that kind of equipment here in Daly City versus San Antonio?
Good point.
Well,
Good point. That would-
just through the chair, on a positive note, I think that bringing this to the community for many people who can't afford to go to a gym, and to be able to encourage not only the young but the old to maybe to participate, and with the possibility, I like that idea, with that possibility, because there's so many amazing classes and in that vicinity, in the Dolger and such, that, you know, you could see somebody getting excited, and hopefully when it's built, you know, that you build it, they will come kind of idea. So, I mean, you know, other cities have to deal with injuries and potential, you know, that kind of thing in anything, walking
Yeah.
down the
At
sidewalk.
the swimming pool.
At the swimming pool. I mean, if we start worrying about that, we have nothing, so.
No,
and
but
it's a
my
great-
more concern is not so much someone getting hurt, but the long-term maintenance of the equipment in Daly City. You know, our
That's very
our
legitimate
record is
concern,
not all
yeah.
that good.
Which means we can only go up.
And just to
But to
clarify
plan
too,
for the maintenance.
Well, I mean, as
yeah.
long, that would be something that would have to be,
Included
in my
in the plan.
opinion, included
Absolutely.
in the proposal, is the maintenance of the equipment.
And also finding out, because of course San Antonio is completely different weather, but since they are all over the country, to see where similar and how long do they last, and what kind of maintenance is required and costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, for the community, it's a great thing, and I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
No.
You know, the playground structure, there's always the risk, I think if it's done with proper signage, you know, a lot of this equipment, though, the way it appeared to me, though, there's not a lot of them that have moving parts, so that's a plus. My concern is when you use an equipment, you wear the ground surface, whether it's on dirt or it's asphalt, you know, not asphalt, but on dirt or it's
Correct.
tan bark, like in a playground, there's, you know, some maintenance. So I think that, again, there should be a plan along the way to keep that maintained.
if I could, Chair, 2 points. One to address that specifically. When staff looked at this initially, as she alluded in her presentation, the driving cost of making it the way we wanted to have the soft surface, which would be a little bit easier to maintain
Right.
than dirt or tan bark. Extremely expensive option. But the other thing I really want to emphasize, this is a concept that
Oh,
we
yeah.
just talked about 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
The Rotary Club doesn't have funding. Our department doesn't have funding. The city has not included this in any long-term capital project list of priorities. But I like the idea, and I like the you know, if there's an opportunity to partner,
Absolutely.
it would make it that much more of, you know, something that we could make reality versus
Oh, I
a
would
failed concept.
I would absolutely agree, but, you know, just as I said, you know, those are my concerns about it long-term. I think it would be great if we could put it in tomorrow.
Well, I was going to say, through the chair, you know, when they're all, and I don't know about you guys, but did you watch it going, I used to do that, but I was in 5th grade. You know, but I don't think, you know, it would be nice to have a playground for us big people, you know, older grown-ups, and to just encourage people to be outdoors and to do something, you know. I think it's great.
I'm not convinced that video didn't have models.
Ringers, you
Yeah,
mean?
ringers.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and correct me if you're wrong, I mean, if I'm wrong, of what you saw either in Spain or in San Antonio, what I saw were regular people.
Ordinary, yeah.
Yes, no, that's why,
And
yes.
you said not moving part, there were ellipticals and stationary bikes. but
Yes,
very
it is a combination.
Rudimentary, very solid
So,
steel
Yeah.
structure, but no one was going crazy like the people in the video.
No, no.
No,
Reg-
that's
regular-
us in the future.
Just
Yes,
regular people.
right.
Yeah, no one was jumping around or, you know,
Yeah, that's
hopping on
after you've been
wires.
using it for 6 months and you're gonna look like that, yeah.
No, that's why I wanted to make a point that, you know, I like the information in that video, but as far as who can use it, it's really, you know, from 6-year-olds to 90-year-olds, literally. And where there are major projects in the country where there's been success at really all, what is it, the Raiders, I think, just put they're putting a lot in middle schools. So really for kids to get fit is so important as well.
Well, just to the chair, I think it's a great idea. I think that obviously, as Joseph said, it's the beginning, it's the thoughts, it's the ideas, and that's where everything starts, actually. What a great idea.
And I'd rather include you today than, come back a year from now and
Surprise.
say, hey,
Oh, no, we're all gonna
now
start
we're
working
kinda
out so that we
excited.
could look like the, look like the when it gets installed.
No, I think it's great, and any opportunity for grant funds or anything, the city's always looking
right.
for that opportunity, and this proposal and working with the Rotary, it gives us another avenue to try to get something put in place like this. So really appreciate your time and effort, and
Well done.
Thank you.
well done.
Thank you all
This
very much.
is the first step of a very long journey.
Yes.
Yes, right. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thanks a lot.
coming.
This time we'll move on to youth basketball team eligibility policy.
Yes, I'd like to reintroduce to you Mr. Edgardo Bolaños.
Hello, Commission. So again, my name is Edgardo Bolaños, Recreation Coordinator. So today, I am recommending that we update our our school team eligibility policy for our youth basketball program. So to give a little bit background about our program, our youth basketball league is for 3rd through 8th grade boys and girls, for essentially anyone that lives in the area. So whether you're a Daly City resident or a non-resident, there is an opportunity for you to participate in our league. We do individual registration. We also do team-based registration. When a individual, if they go to a school in Daly City, but there's not enough children to make a team for that school, they sign up individually. Our staff, we work with those children, with those parents to find a team, to create a team. We call them Daly City teams. They get to pick their own name and they participate in our league that way. The alternative is sometimes we are fortunate enough to find a parent, a teacher, someone from a school that is willing to organize students, and they come in as a school team. So what they do is they pay a registration fee, and in return they are able to participate in our league. There are benefits for them to sign up as a school team. As far as the recreation department is concerned, we spend less time, less staff hours, having to find players to fill roster spots. They come with their own coaches. We're not having to expend money in the cost of jerseys and equipment. They pay a reduced fee, but they also have to come up with the other side of it. Also, they have individuals in place that act as a liaison to the department. They're in charge of speaking with the school, with the coaches, the teams, the parents. So it leaves up, it frees up a lot of time and efforts for our staff to concentrate on other areas of the program. In front of you, you'll also have the last eligibility, the current eligibility, I should say. So currently, schools we would defer to the school for their eligibility. Sometimes they would have students that didn't necessarily go to their school. Maybe they're part of their catechism program if they're a parochial school, or they lived in the school boundaries. In the last few years, what we've found is that some of these teams coming as a school teams were actually AAU teams. AAUs are essentially organized basketball tournaments where you essentially pick your team, you create a team, you play in different tournaments. They were essentially using our league as a practice league for their teams. What would happen is they would come in, say they were part of the parish, for example, with the parochial schools, and we would defer to the school. The school would okay it. Later on, we find out that the child doesn't live in the county. They live in San Jose, but they have a family member. So we would have to do a lot of chasing, a lot of investigation. There was once, the last time I ran the program in 2015, or 2014, excuse me, where the coach straight up admitted that one of his players was not part of the school. They forfeited the games that they had won. But it would have been a lot better if we had a simple rule that said, if you are going to play for a school team, you better go to the school. So that is essentially in a nutshell what we're asking, that we want to keep our league fair for all our school, all our Daly City residents, all the people that go to our Daly City schools. We want to give everyone the equal opportunity to compete, because our league is a recreational league. It's we focus on encompassing a positive environment. You know, competition is low key. I mean, it's a part of playing basketball, competition, winning and losing, and how you deal with that. The other thing is, you know, we want to strive for our coaches to concentrate on developing and teaching the players, not necessarily concentrating on the winning, making sure that good sportsmanship is in place and that the kids are having fun. It's not fun when you know the other team is stacked with other players from other places that don't even go to the school. So you do have an updated version. It'll say 26. It's the proposed 26 Youth Basketball League 2016. So for for next year, it has the new player eligibility. For the school team, the very first thing that is changed is that the school team will be only comprised of players who are currently enrolled as students at that school. There might be a fiscal impact. Some of the schools might not want to do that. They might not want to break up their teams if they're playing in other leagues, and we're okay with that. So team registration might fall off a little, but what we hope is that those past players have had such a great experience in our league that they'll sign up individually, and then we can still assign them a team. So we're not telling anybody that they can't play in our league. There will be an option for anyone that does want to continue to play in our league. But we do want to concentrate on keeping everything fair, making sure that everyone that does register for our program and does participate is doing so with sportsmanship in mind, that they're not lying about where they go to school just so they can win a medal at the end of the season. With that, I mean, if you have any questions.
I'd just like to say, I think it needs to happen. You know, I think you're going to find that the AAU teams take the 10 best players out of the school.
Absolutely.
So if 3 of them drop off, you might get 5 that really want to play basketball. So I think, yeah, the competition within that one team drops, but overall in the league will be much better. And I think, you know, I've been involved in sports a long time, and I've seen this become a major problem.
Yes.
Baseball, basketball, it's really notorious for it. And I think it also hurts your high school programs as well. So as it goes up in levels, you're only catering to those 10 kids out of that school versus being able to develop the 5 kids that can't get on this team. So I think it needs to happen.
And to speak to your point, it's our league is it's meant for anyone and everyone that wants to play the game of basketball, because as they get older, the opportunities are going to lessen. So once, like you said, once you get to high school, I mean, if they're lucky to have 2 teams at the high school, that's at most 30 youth that get to play basketball. So for our program, we want to keep it open. And again, you know, some schools might not like the fact that they can't have all these other players. Again, if those children that do want to play, we will have a spot for them in our league.
I'm just saying through the chair, because my 2 boys and my daughter all played. They played all through school, and I know it was less when they played, but we did see that. But usually with the schools coming in, because my kids went to Holy Angels, and they pretty much follow the rules.
Yes.
But what we did see was the children on other teams coming to play. Is this something that is going to be your rules? I know it's for us here in Daly City, but are we going to somehow present it to the other schools that come through and just let them know that we hope that they're following the same type of rules?
Absolutely. So these teams, I mean, they're public schools, they're parochial schools. So For example, we do have, Holy Angels, OLM, OLPH that participate in our league, as well as, the middle schools. So this is for everyone. Anyone that those teams do come in to play in our league. So they would have to follow these rules if they wanted to participate in our league. They already play in other leagues, and that's fine. That's other leagues' rules. They can do whatever they wish. But for us, we feel that this is important enough that we do our thing. If they like it, we're here for them. We're here to serve our community. If someone wants to go play in an AAU team, there's plenty of tournaments out there for them.
Well, this is for the kids that are not going to get the basketball scholarships
Absolutely.
to college. Yeah, exactly.
Do we still run, like we used to, when my kid was playing, it was the McGillicuddy tournament. And we don't run where schools could have an AAU type team and run a tournament type thing?
Currently, we don't have any tournament competitions going on of any kind, but one of the things that we brought to you, our Showcase League, didn't happen this last year. We're either looking at giving it one more try for Showcase League or looking at an avenue of tournament style.
Right,
So we'd have our own types of tournaments for basketball or what have you.
right.
To make it, we figure if our leagues are for those youth in the community, but if there's that avenue out there that we can take in some revenue because the AAUs want to play in a tournament and we can provide that gymnasium to make that happen, we can kind of do it both ways.
And that was my point. I'm
Yeah.
saying we could take care of both. Now, if Holy Angels had somewhat of an AAU team, they could come in and take that team into that tournament, and then we could kind of work with both teams.
Yeah,
you know.
and that would be in the latter part of the season.
Of the season, sure.
This league would run like it normally does, January through mid-March, and then if we wanted to bring up some AAU tournament,
Through the chair, when you're saying that the McGillicuddy and the Showcase, my kids did both. So I
Yeah.
remember and
It was
talking, this is in the 90s, but late 90s, they did play both. We did do that. It did work out, so.
The opportunities are there. It's just that for this is a specific type of program, and there is an avenue for other programs and other athletics and things that are more geared toward competition. And like Denise said, if that's a avenue you want to look at, we can, because it's very popular and it's very lucrative. But again, with anything that we want to do, there's costs involved, there's staff involved, there's time. So, with that, it's a matter of looking what we can do and what we can offer, and then moving from there.
Well, I like this one. I think this will be good.
Yeah, I do too. Okay,
Thank you.
well, thank you.
I
for
believe
that.
that
You're welcome.
that
And
item is an
welcome
action
back.
item,
Oh, is it? It's an action item?
not listed that way on the agenda.
Is it an action item?
I'm gonna make the motion.
So I have a motion, do I have a second? Can you spell it?
Are we making a motion
I
to
believe,
accept this
yeah, I
new
believe-
language?
I
I'd like
believe
to
that
make a
would be-
motion to accept the
And
new
I'd like to
language.
second it.
Very good.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good.
Motion passes. Moving on to commission reports. Do I have any reports?
Just briefly, Saturday's Hispanic celebration for the short time I was there was very nicely done, and look forward to next year's.
And I'm looking forward to the Dia de los Muertos, so that's just a
yeah.
continuation. So that's an upcoming event in October 29th, so.
And announcements? Joseph, did you want to, or Denise?
Oh, but Denise, come on, Denise. All right, we have a couple events coming up right around the corner on Sunday, October 4th at the Cafe Dolger. It is the annual Fall Festival that we host in collaboration with the supporters of the Dolger Senior Center, Inc. That starts at 8:30 in the morning, and there'll be pancakes serving probably up until about 11 o'clock or so. As it winds down, too, they always have a wonderful pancake toss to sort of cap off the morning. Lots of entertainment, lots of food, and it's one of the three big fundraising events of the year for the supporters of the Dolger Senior Center, Inc., the
Joseph,
nonprofit group.
cost? What is the cost in case someone's out there listening who wants to go have
If
pancakes?
you are a member, if you are one of the 1,100 or so members, and you bring your membership card, it is free. If you're not a member, become a member, and you or if, I believe it's $5 per yeah, actually, it is $5 per person.
What's
for
such a
everybody else.
deal?
It's a great deal. I don't know that you can get a full pancake breakfast with sides and juice and all that anywhere else in town for that price.
Yeah.
Plus entertainment and a raffle and great prizes. I believe the top prize is $1,000, courtesy of the Westside Village Apartment. So
Wow.
Nice.
Well, being a member, I like the free breakfast.
It's yummy.
It was good when I paid for it, but it's better when it's free.
And then the following Saturday, on October 10th, we are having our annual Filipino American History Month celebration, mostly in the Pacelli Gym at Westlake Park. That's going to kick off at about 11 in the morning and go through till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and probably will extend beyond that. The traditional, typical celebration will take place at that time. But we're augmenting the event this year with a component, Legions of Boom. So we're going to have some Bay Area DJs that will make it more appealing for some of our younger members of the community, doing some DJ demonstrations and also some lecturing. There's a book that came out. Help me out, people. It's called Legions of Boom. It's by Oscar somebody who actually is not Filipino, but his book focused on the DJ explosion in the Bay Area back in the 80s and 90s, and he got kind of fascinated in some of the premier DJs of that time, little to my knowledge. We're coming right out of Daly City, so it's sort of revisiting that era, which he documents in this book. And I understand there's also a similar panel happening at Skyline College too, same topic, some of the same folks, and they're actually sending people up here from LA to participate. So that'll be a new twist on the event that typically skews a little bit older. So it'll be interesting to see how big of a crowd comes for the later portion. Dia de los Muertos is not your typical Dia de los Muertos. It actually is going to be limited to the John Daly Library this year, and that's going to be on Thursday, October 29th, from 3:30 to 6. And then last of our big events coming up in October, the Haunted Pool on Friday evening, October 30th, from 6:30 to 9:30. And I will tell you, the staff is already very hard at work creating sets for that evening, and our offices are slowly being taken over by Halloween, the tombstones and such. And that concludes the announcements for this evening.
Well, thank you. I have no public comment, so we'll move on to adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.